Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I want to talk about Daredevil Born Again once again because I feel like between the audio of my previous review being cut off, I'm not sure if I got this point across.
Almost there! Don't turn back now!
Every time I try to kill Moon Knight, Black Panther is behind me. The little bitch! The little punk bitch! Given that I spent a decent amount of time in the last episode talking about things that I wasn't sure if I liked, choices that they decided to make regarding certain characters that I maybe felt a little accustomed to, I have rewatched the first two episodes. I feel like I am loving it and enjoying it even more than I already was. I was already really digging what they were doing, but rewatching it, I'm like, man, this is something special. This is something that I need to be a lot more happy about because we could have never gotten this. We could have not have gotten the continuation of this back, and I feel like Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are a huge reason for why I am enjoying this as much as I am. But episode 3, I think, is important to talk about because I've seen some people who, maybe they're not on as high on the show so far as I am. And I've heard people complain about the lack of Daredevil, the lack of Matt Murdock in the Daredevil costume. And I'm for one that if you had told me on paper this show is not going to have Matt Murdock as Daredevil, dressed up as Daredevil for action scenes and stuff for more than 3 episodes, at the beginning of the show, it would take a while before we get to see Matt hopefully put the costume on. I probably would have complained about it, just if I heard that. But watching the way that they are telling the story, watching how much the events of the first episode that I was so mixed on, seeing how much that affected him to where he does not want to be Daredevil. He does not want to go even further into what he was doing because he will wind up in a very dark place. I think they've conveyed that very well, very convincingly. I think Charlie Cox, if he wasn't as good as he was as Matt Murdock, I would also maybe have some doubts, but I'm not bored watching Matt Murdock do his lawyer thing. I think that's something that people need to remember or put into perspective, is that Matt Murdock's a lawyer as well as being a vigilante, superhero, what have you. You have to tell that lawyer side. You have to show him taking on cases that may seem impossible for him to win. Some people might argue, oh, it feels too much like Law and Order. It doesn't feel like they're watching a superhero show. Daredevil is something different. If you go back and rewatch those first 3 seasons on Netflix, they spent a lot of time talking about his cases and talking about the people that were in trouble with the law, and him and Foggy had to deal with that. That was a big part of those episodes. And so I appreciate that this reboot has not lost that, has not shied away from that. Even when She-Hulk was the idea of this lawyer that was taking on cases every episode, even though that was a sitcom point of view, they were way more comedic. I remember people complaining about how they didn't take the court stuff seriously, how it was absurd, it was over the top. Here's a show that is taking the court stuff serious. Here's a show that is putting the time, effort, and care into writing this out and creating scenarios that, for me personally, with episode 3, put me on the edge of my seat with the case of Hector, the White Tiger. I was very much invested in whether or not Matt could help him get off on this. And also, the idea that they were having to go against the cops, a very controversial subject, but I appreciate that the show is tackling that as well. And also just the idea of vigilantism, how divided the society and community is with that. Look at how Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, decides to use his position, his voice, in order to feed into the fear of vigilantes and how unethical they are, how unneeded they are, how much they should not be allowed to do what they are doing. I think that the show might try to comment on what the Marvel community, in that world, what people think of vigilantes in this world, I think it's very compelling. I think it's super, like, this is dark and serious stuff. You know, there's not a lot of jokes, not a lot of silliness, stuff that I feel like Marvel was leaning too much into. It feels like this show is taking a lot more things serious. It's staying in the vein of the Netflix shows. There is way more good and way more positive that I am feeling from watching the show. I'm loving the stuff of Fisk and his wife Vanessa being estranged and trying to figure out how she still wants to do the criminal business, but he's trying to go legit with the mayor, and how that's clashing, how she's seeing another guy and he knows about it, and that's creating conflict. Them going to counseling with Matt Murdock's therapist girlfriend. I feel like the girlfriend is in danger. Just between being involved with Fisk and who knows what else is going to happen. Anybody that gets close to Matt is obviously in danger any which way. But I wanted this particular, I don't even know if you could say it's a review. It's an overview of my thoughts on episode 3. I really enjoyed it. Yes, it's not action-packed. Yes, it's not, Daredevil punching people in the face every 5 seconds. But I am digging it. I am appreciating a lot of the story themes and the plots and the ideas that we are tackling. Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I'm just appreciating a different level of storytelling. Maybe if I was 10, 15 years younger, I'd be complaining that, oh, this is boring, blah, blah, blah. But that's not how I'm feeling right now. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen Daredevil. Not only episode 3, but the entire series so far. Are you digging it? Are you enjoying it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.